Okay, on this one we're going to have a look at what Cab Treasure describe as multi-bookings. Um, there's a lot of features to this one, so I'm going to go over as much as I can, or as much as I've understood so far, and do my best. So basically, let's start with new booking, and I drop a mobile number in. So if you'd picked up an incoming call, it would have put the number in, customer in if it was on our existing database, otherwise it'd be fresh. So that's having a search. You can see this is a number I've used previously, so there's lots of jobs popped up. If I pick details, just puts the number and name in, so we can start afresh with the pickup points and destinations, etc. We're going to call it multi, which is fine, because we want to turn this single booking into a block of bookings. As an example, let's say that there's someone calling to sort of book a month's worth of bookings to take somebody to school, for instance, and that's going to be like 5 days a week, all the weekdays. So if we say something like Belmont Road, going to Whitecross School, I'm going to change that to multi-book, because I did have a trial run on this earlier on. I was trying to figure it all out, and I think the block I did earlier on is still on the system, so we don't confuse the two. So we'll call that multi-book. We've got the pickup point and the drop-off. It's a car. Let's say they said it's just for one child or passenger. And let's assume, if we come to pickup date, that it's starting tomorrow morning. So I think to get to Whitecross School, we need to be picking them up by around there somewhere. Might need to be earlier, but this is just an example anyway. So that would be the morning booking for tomorrow. Let's just say now that they've decided they want it every day from tomorrow for the next month. So what we do now, if you wanted to discuss price of them, fixed price for the period, on the meter, whatever, these are extra things we'd look at down here with adding a quoted fare, any special requirements, all these things we've gone over on previous videos. Again, untick bidding, because we don't bid. I'm going to have to get hold of Cab Treasure to turn this off, because it's a feature we don't use and it should have been turned off. So the important bit now is to go to multi-booking, as they call it. If you look up here where I've got this flashing circle, you can press the button now, which will take us to a new window, or you can use the F8 key, which is on the keyboard, to do the same thing. So once you get to know your shortcuts a bit better, it can save a little bit of time. So let's just click on that for now. When the initial multi-booking window opens, you've got daily, and we're going to want weekly, but on daily, all of these little fields up here, if you'd have added those to the main window before opening it, they'd be populated with all of the info you needed. On daily, if they were sort of random days over the next sort of month, you can see the job we've booked there. You could then change, you could add a return journey for this one, which we haven't yet. We can also do that on weekly, which I'll show you shortly. And you could then add that. You could also pick another date and add another random day, and just have a small block of bookings that are spread randomly over a set period. So, and that's fairly straightforward, because, like I said, on the pickup, you'd enter because we know the address obviously already, times and dates, add it, and then you do the return, times and dates, add it, create bookings, and they'd pop up down here, and then you'd save and close, and those random bookings that you've put in would all go into the main pre-bookings database. But for now, we're going to do a block, so we're going to come over to weekly, and we're going to, as I said, these would be populated from the previous booking screen, the main booking screen, if you'd already done that. So let's say they wanted to go to school Monday to Friday. You'd highlight, tick all of these, Monday to Friday. Let's say they want a block of 4 weeks. We'll go for that for now. And that's starting as we put in on this original booking tomorrow at 7:55, I believe we said. Yep. So now we want to, if you look now on the end date, because we put 4 weeks here, it's already added the total days up to that date. So that's been done for you, which is great. In the box below, you've got return journey. So if you tick that, we can add a pickup time. So, Whitecross, I'm guessing if you wanted, you'd get there for perhaps 3:05, 3:15, I don't know, just an example. And once you've got that in, there's the original bit we put in. We've got our span over 5 days, over 4 weeks, and when you come here and hit create booking, once you're happy all this information is correct, you get all of those jobs generated for the whole period, which is really quick and easy. At this point during the conversation with the customer, if they happen to say during that 4-week period there was a specific day or two that we wouldn't be needed, you could go to those. So let's just say the Thursday and Friday on the week beginning the 21st, you'd put a tick in those boxes to exclude them, and then you'd save and close, and they would be removed from the list at this stage, and they wouldn't be a problem. But for now, we'll leave them all there. So now I'm going to save and close this, and that takes a little bit of time. There you go, because it's updating the database, and there's quite a few bookings. So if we come down to, just to see they've gone in, pre-bookings now down here off the main, we're on the dashboard now, so we come to pre-bookings down here and have a look. These, I think I've said this before, but I will go over it again. All of the columns with the relevant info below them, these are search areas. These are filters you can apply. So if we wanted to search passengers, you can see I've got multi-book there. That's the new jobs I've just set up, the multi-jobs that I've just set up, and that's starting on the 11th. So if we go to the filter there and just put multi in, it's brought up the previous one that I was experimenting with, but it's also brought up, if I scroll back up, because I'm not showing the first day, it's also brought up the new bookings for multi-book. So you can see there's the zone, Newton Farm, we're picking up 7:55 to, and then there's the return at 5:05, which we put in. So you can see all of your jobs are there. Now, if I now go up to booking up here, or you, whoever, and come to multi-booking, in this window that's popped up, it shows you all of the multi-booking jobs, multiples of jobs that are bundled that we've just booked using the previous window. Now sometimes if you go straight to this window after saving it, where we just saved all of the jobs down, it doesn't actually show up. So you need to, first thing you need to do when you open this window, once you've clicked on it, multi-booking list, is refresh. And as soon as you refresh, it'll pop up. So that's the one, that's the block we've just put together. So if you double click on that now, it'll open up the multi-stroke future bookings window, and this is where we can really dig in and edit different parts of the jobs on different days quite quickly and quite easily. Let's say the customer had called back again now to say that on the return from Whitecross School, just as an example, every Wednesday the student's staying on after school to do something and they don't need picking up till 3:30, for instance. Up here we've got one-way bookings and return bookings. So the one-way, this is the initial booking in the morning where you're picking them up and taking them to the destination. There you go. And then you've got the return. So we're saying, from our example earlier on, we wanted to say on every Wednesday of the block that we've done of 4 weeks, you'd come here to day-wise and select day-wise. And then you've got your Monday to Sunday for your week. And you'd pick, say, we as we said earlier on Wednesday, you'd pick Wednesday. They've said every Wednesday for that period, the student's not finished until, doesn't need picking up till 3:30. So if you change that in there, you can either use this to scroll up and down or just use it off the number pad. Now, once you've done that, if you come to apply changes, you'll notice that every Wednesday, if you look at the dates here, on the return, on the times here, on the return time was changed to 15:30. Now this information is still only temporary until you save and close. If you weren't happy with the change you made or there's something wrong, before you save and close, you can revert changes up here and that'll undo it all back to the original time. So now let's say they said actually every Wednesday, to make that 15:40, you can come back and do that again, apply changes, and now you'll see every Wednesday for that block of 1540. And what you do then is, if that's all they wanted, you simply come down to save and close, apply that, and I've refreshed it again just to make sure it's updated this. If you come back to your dashboard then, which is a tab open here or the main button there, come back to your pre-bookings, you can see I've still left my search previously for multi-book in there, so it's only showing those. If you get a screen happen to pop up, whether it's on this one or the dashboard, and it doesn't look right, let's just say if I type Nikki here, because I can see that at the top, and you're thinking, well, where the hell are my jobs? It's going to be because you've still left some information in one of these filter search boxes. So we'd have to come on there and delete that to get all the jobs back. That's really important that you keep an eye out for that one. So if I come back to pre-bookings, we should be able to see now that every Wednesday on the return for that period of time, it should have 1530 in there. So you can see they're coming back on 1530. So let me just come back out of this screen, back to booking list, multi-book, and go to the return. Actually no, it wasn't 1530. We as an example reverted the change on that and then went back in at 1540. What I'm going to do for now to make this easier is I'm going to quickly come off that, go to the multi one that I did as a test and delete that block. So now if we come back to the dashboard, pre-bookings down here, and refresh, all of the multis have gone and we're left with just the multi-book, which is the one we were working with. So now when you scroll through the date range from the Wednesday we picked, because obviously the job begins on the Thursday, and every Wednesday if you come down here, you look at the job, you can see they've changed to 1540, which is great. So that's edited all those jobs in one file sweep. Let's come back up to booking, to multi-booking list, and go back onto our multi-book and double click it with the left mouse button. I must remind you it's the left button. You can make further changes now, so you could change the one-way bookings, you could change the outward journey, you could change the time on that. Again, you could pick date-wise for the whole range and select a day and change the time, and do the same as we did last time. You could, if you didn't want to use day-wise and do it for the whole block, you can do it for specific days. So you could say, if you say from, now if we went back to the calendar now and said from the 10th to, let's say the 16th for argument's sake, you want it to be picked up at 7:15, and you apply that, you can see that whole block at the beginning now has been changed to 7:15. So you've got, just to recap, you've got full range. So if you've got that ticked and till end ticked, and then you highlight, so we'll go back to that, till end, and then you highlight day wise, you can select a day and it will do all of the days, or you can come into here and select a range. So it could be from beginning till that date, or it could be from any point during the whole block to that specific date. So now it would change it for just those 4 days. That also applies to the change pickup point and change destination. So for argument's sake now, let's say we've saved and closed that down, refresh it, come back up to multi-book. The first ones that we did in that block there are now 7:15, and let's just say on the first day, bear with me, let's just say on the first day, which would be the 10th, and we're going to untick that one, we'll call it the first 2 days in fact, let's say the 10th to the 11th, we actually want to pick up from a different address. You could come and change pickup point and put whatever address you want on here. So you could say, let's just keep to the B's, about something like Broad Street, for instance? There we go. And then you could apply that. So we'll do that, and now you can see on those 2 days it's updated both of those. So it's a very powerful, flexible tool, and you know, once you get the hang of this, I think you're going to realise how wonderful it is. Like, I'm really impressed with it. So all that aside, there's another feature here, cancel bookings. This one, when you click on it, applies to return and one way. So if we come over to cancel bookings, you won't see them disappear from the block because the block stays in the system to allow you to update it, because you could probably use at a future time all of those in another block, but just change the beginning and end dates and it's ready to go again. It's that simple. So what you can do from here, rather than deleting a day, it's completely off the system, so you haven't got it there as an option in the future, you can cancel bookings. So let's just say we wanted to cancel everything from the 10th to, for instance, the 16th of the 1st, and we applied that. They've gone red now. Now they'll stay in this block, but when you save and close, okay, if we come back to the dashboard and refresh, and then go back to pre-bookings and refresh, what it should have done, oh, I know, I've made a mistake. I'll go back to that. So go back to multi-bookings. My fault, silly mistake. One thing I forgot to do, and this is obviously quite important, cancel bookings on the outward journey from the 10th to the 16th of the 1st. Apply. Now what I didn't do was save. This is really important. You need to save that down. Now it's saved. So if we come back to the dashboard now, pre-bookings, and refresh, you'll see all of the outward journeys have gone. We're just left with the returns. Well, obviously we don't want the returns, so we need to come back to booking, multi-booking list, and do the same on the return booking. So you'd say again, we come to 10th to the 16th of the 1st. Now apply, and you can see it's done it again. It's cancelled them, not deleted them, because it's useful to have the whole block for future reference. And then we save, and that should have, if we come back to the dashboard, back to pre-bookings, and now we need to refresh because it's still got the old info in there. There you go, they've all gone. So everything from the 10th to the 16th has now been cancelled, even though the multi-booking we have on the system has still got all those days, so we could use them on a future period for a block of bookings. And that's great. I think it's a really powerful tool. Coming back to multiple bookings, come back on here. Well, I think we've pretty well covered everything. This info again is populated from the first screen when you create it. You can add info here and apply changes, and it'll update all the jobs. I think we've covered day-wise, so you can update every Wednesday, for instance, or every Thursday in the whole block. We've covered ranges, so you can untick these and set it from a period and change the time. You could also set a range for address pickup or destination. These are all the options we've looked at. One thing to remember out of all of them is with cancel bookings, once you've set your range to cancel, you have to apply here and save here, and then that will cancel the bookings. If you don't do those, the bookings that you try to cancel will stay on the system and still go out, so that's quite important. That's pretty much multi-bookings. The last thing with that to do is if we're done and dusted with one, and say it's been on the system for a while and it's not going to be happening again, you can simply click on it and hit delete, and that multi-block will be gone. There we go, that's multi-bookings. On to the next video. Bye.